Good morning, everybody. It's Martha again with another little informational video, and today we're going to talk about foundations. There's all kinds of foundations out there, and we're going to be talking about drugstore foundations. And so, there's different points that you need to kind of remember when you're going to choose a foundation. When you're going to choose a drugstore foundation, one of the problems with that is that you can't test it. So you want to make sure you keep your receipt and that store will take open returns. So if you get that foundation home and it's not the right shade, or if it just, it doesn't look right on you, you can always take it back and exchange it. And there's different finishes for foundations. There is a dewy finish and a matte finish. A dewy finish or a luminous finish is going to give your skin kind of like a dewy or a luminous look. I do not like dewy finishes on me because on me, I just think they look make my skin look like it's oily or sweaty. And I don't have oily skin, but a lot of people with dry skin like these dewy foundations, and a matte foundation is just going to give you kind of a smooth, almost like a velvety type of finish, a very flawless finish, and I really like that. If you have really dry skin, you might not want to try a matte foundation. Maybe you would do better with a satin matte or a demi matte, and always use a good lightweight moisturizer under your primer before you put on your foundation. Excuse me. And there's different skin tones. People have different skin tones. There's cool tones and there's warm tones. The best way to find out, a little trick I learned to find out what skin tone you are, is to go outside or into natural light and look at the blood vessels in the back of your hand. If the blood vessels tend to be on the more blue side, then you would be a cool tone. If the blood vessels appear to be more on the green side, then you would be a warm tone, and if they're in between the blue and the green, then you are a neutral tone. Cool tones will have like a pink undertone. Warmer tones will have a yellow undertone. So you want to make sure you get the right foundation tone as well as color. If you happen to pick up a foundation and it's too dark and you can't take it back, you can always lighten it with a little bit of white face primer. Just mix a little of the white primer with the foundation and lighten it a little bit so you can use it. There's also BB creams and tinted moisturizers like this pure BB cream, Maybelline. I don't use too many BB creams, but a lot of people like them, or a tinted foundation, tinted moisturizer. They like those for a quick fix, or if you need to just put a little bit on and get out the door, or if you like more of a no makeup look, you might like a tinted moisturizer or a BB cream. I don't think you're going to find a lot of shades available in those products as much as you would for foundations. There's different kinds of foundations too, like liquid foundations. Liquid foundations are good for all skin types, and they usually come in a glass bottle. It might have a pump, or it may not have a pump. It may just have just a cap, and it's going to be kind of messy if it doesn't have a pump trying to get it out. You might end up spilling it all over the place. But a liquid foundation will give you a medium coverage, and it's good for all skin types. There's mineral powders, loose powder foundations, which will give you a light to medium coverage, and they are good for oily or combination skin. There's also like pressed powder or cream to powder foundations, like this Milani cream to powder foundation, and it will give you medium to full coverage, and it is good for oily skin. There's also cream foundations like this a Color Stay by Revlon, and it comes in a jar. It's the whipped cream version, and it is my absolute favorite. It's a good long-lasting foundation, but a cream foundation will give you full coverage. It's really good for mature skin, and it's also good to help cover like scars or little hyperpigmentation places on your face. And there's also gel foundations like this Velvet Mousse from Maybelline, and also stick foundations, which sometimes are of a gel formula. And that will give you a light to medium coverage, and it is for all skin types. There's also something fairly new on the American market. It's called cushion foundations. L'Oreal has their Lumi Cushion Foundation, and Physicians Formula has a cushion foundation. It comes in a compact. It has two sections. The top section will have an applicator sponge, and then the bottom section will actually have the product. And what a cushion foundation is, it is actually like a special type of sponge that has been saturated in liquid foundation. And you take that little applicator sponge and you press into it very lightly, and then you apply it to your face that way. And they will give you a very luminous, dewy look. I have not tried them because of that reason, but they do give you a luminous coverage type, a full coverage with a luminous effect. And there's a couple downsides to them. They do dry out quickly, so you need to make sure you keep that compact really closed up tight. And the other downside to a cushion foundation is they are pricey, and you get much less product in that compact than if you were to buy the same product in a bottle. So you might want to keep that in mind if you're going to look at a cushion foundation. But I do think it gives you maybe a medium coverage. And like I said, if you need to build that foundation up, you can apply your first layer, let it set, and if you look like it needs a little bit more, you can go ahead and apply another layer over the first one and then let that set. Some foundations come with an SPF. I do not particularly want an SPF in my foundation. I do not go outside in the sun. I have a family history of skin cancer on my dad's side, and I just avoid the sun as much as possible. If you happen to be one who enjoys being out in the sun, or if you have to be out in the sun, you might like a foundation with an SPF, and it will say so on the bottle. Keep in mind though, if you get a foundation with an SPF, you don't want to get your picture taken with that, wearing that foundation, because for some reason it can kind of almost create a flashback or something. Like in the photos, you might notice some shininess on your face. So if you're going to have your picture taken, you might not want to wear the foundations with an SPF. So you might want to keep that in mind. Like I said, there's different kinds of application tools to apply your foundation. Brushes, sponges, even your hands, your fingers. You just want to get it applied evenly and blended evenly. And I have said this 2 or 3 times before, make sure you get that foundation blended all of the way to the hairline. Maybe a little bit on the fronts of the ears. You know, you can just take your brush and kind of just go like this, just kind of blend it in and get like those ears, bring it down into the neck and chin area, and just get that foundation blended. Get it applied and blended all the way into the hairline, the top fronts of the ears, and down in your neck and chin, because you do not want to see where the foundation stops and your skin starts. And like when you're testing the colors of a foundation, instead of testing it on the back of your hand, the best place to test it would be on your neck. So when you are looking for a foundation, make sure that you check the color by checking it against your neck and not your hand. But, you know, back to the blending, you do want to get it blended in there. There's nothing worse than seeing somebody with their foundation just stopping, and then you can just definitely tell where the product stops and the skin starts. And I have seen women who have bought foundation in the absolute worst color, the wrong shade or tone, and it just looks very orangey on them. An orangey foundation is going to be, on the warm side, and you don't want that. You want to make sure you get the right shade, the right tone, the right color for your skin type. And it might take a couple tries. Like I said, keep that receipt, make sure the store takes back open returns, and then keep in mind which one that you have bought. And remember, if you say your foundation is natural ivory in one shade, well, natural ivory in a different shade, a different company, different brand, may be different than the natural ivory in the first company, the first line. So you can't always go by the names. You have to go by the actual colors. I do hope that is everything that I wanted to go over as far as foundations go. And we're going to continue this little video series soon with informations on things like concealers and color correctors, and we'll do that hopefully one of these days soon. I hope everybody enjoyed this little video, and like I said, stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Jesus loves you, and I do too. Have a great day. Bye-bye.